Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if everyone could stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome to our November school board meeting. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Opportunities for public participation will be permitted in accordance with policy 167.3. We didn't have anyone sign up for public comments, so we will proceed to the consent agenda. So I would like to ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. We now go to student field trips and professional travel.
Thank you. We have the two field trips this month that we want you guys to consider for approval. The first is a high school girls basketball trip to stay overnight on December 27th and 28th at the Whitewater Inn in Harrison, Ohio for the East Central Invite. It's important to note there are no additional expenses to the district. These are being paid out of athletic funds. That's the first one. Second one, junior senior field trip to Kings Island on May 3rd of 2020. All who attend the prom are invited to this particular field trip. Estimated cost is about $65 per student. They'll take two charter buses from Go Travel.
I ask for a motion to approve the field trips and professional leave as requested.
I move to approve the field trips and professional leave.
A second, please.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to thank Nick because this is awesome. I think parents have been requesting for a safer trip for the kids to Kings Island. So I think this is awesome that they're going to get to take a charter bus. Be so
Any
much
further
safer.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. We will now go to other business.
A couple of different items on other business. The first, I want to talk about donations. Of course, one of my favorite things to always talk about. $1,255 to the Martinsville High School Dance Marathon from Morgan County Sertoma Club. To be clear, that is money that's being donated to Martinsville High School to then be donated to Riley Hospital for the dance marathon. $500 to the Martinsville High School Marching Artisans from Morgan County Fall Foliage Festival. $5,000 to Student General Pride from William and Helen Schwab Foundation. Dictionaries to all third grade students in the district from Tri Kappa. And $500 to J.R. Wooden Student Council from Randy Worthington.
I ask for a motion to approve the donations as requested.
I move to approve the donations.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, I'm going to be the food services director for half a second here in Kurt's place. Request permission to award food and non-food bids is accepted by the Central Indiana Education Service Center for the school year 2019-20. These vendors include the following: U.S. Food Service commodity, non-commodity, Prairie Farms Dairy for milk, and Klosterman for bread.
I ask for a motion to approve the food and non-food bids as requested.
I move that we approve the food and non-food bids.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
Thank you. Third item, calendar proposal. So we've been working feverishly the last few weeks, actually Mr. Buckler and a couple of other colleagues, and have worked with MCTA and principals. And so we've pulled together a calendar which is pretty similar to the previous calendars. There really aren't any significant changes, but I'm going to yield to Mr. Buckler for just a minute and the board if you have questions for Craig about the proposed calendar at this point. One key point that I want to make sure I make is that graduation will still be listed as to be determined on that particular calendar. We are going to take the next month to solicit feedback from parents to make sure that we have a graduation date that makes the most sense for our community. So rather than rush that and put something in writing that doesn't make sense, we've decided to slow that part down. So questions, I guess maybe that's your role, sorry.
Any questions about or concerns about the calendar?
I just want to ask, I believe Dr. Arthur, you already cleared this up, that it's been presented and approved by the teachers union.
We took it to discussion. We discussed it. Craig, I'll let you.
We did.
So at the November discussion meeting, we discussed actually or talked about two different options. The association took it back to the members to get feedback, pushed that to me. We did some tweaks, some additions. So yes, thank you.
Any other discussion?
I looked through it. I really like it. I like that we're kind of avoiding the fair a little bit more with this calendar. And starting on Wednesday, I think it went really well this year, you know,
Yeah.
for the students and the teachers. So I really like this break, and I like that on winter break, we're coming back not at the beginning on a Monday, because that always stinks, and in the middle of the week. So
And I think that will be better for the teachers to come back on Monday and then the students on
Right,
Tuesday. So I
yeah.
think that's really good.
Yeah, going through it, I really like it, and I like that we're going to get some input on graduation. I think that'll be awesome.
We will additionally, back to Steve, related to your earlier question, we will bring back the graduation date back to the association as well for discussion before we bring that back to you.
Okay, I ask for a motion to approve the calendar for 2021.
I'll move that we approve the calendar as presented.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
Next item, I'd like for Mr. Buckler, if you would just give us an update on iLearn data, please.
So I included in your packet just what our scores were for English language arts and for math, and then for the grade levels that were tested in science and social studies. I also highlighted in the boxes where we were above the state average. The scores don't look fantastic, obviously. I don't think that's a big surprise to anyone, but they do fall in line with what has happened across the state of Indiana. I'm particularly proud, although I wasn't here last year when all this occurred, of the math in particular, all falling above what the state averages were. And really, that third grade score is just really outstanding. And so already, the instructional coaches and the principals have been trying to discuss and identify what happened in third grade that maybe had an impact on those scores. And so I think we have a couple of ideas on what that is. So those are just the scores, kind of a good starting point for all of us.
Mr. Butler, when you talk about the scores on the third grade, which is the 72%, and then it's obvious by the numbers, it tapers down. Any thoughts or reasoning? And here we are, the way it tapers down, and we're still above, and thankfully, we're above the state average.
Absolutely. You know, I wish I had a great answer for that. I think one of the things that we identified, we potentially think in third grade, that they were a little bit aligned better as far as kind of their review or remediation, and so it was more of a spiral in their curriculum and their instruction. When I first got this data, I did kind of look for trends, and if you'll notice, you know, what was strong at the intermediate school wasn't as strong at the middle school. What was as stronger at the middle school wasn't as strong as the intermediate school. So there really doesn't seem to be one thing that I can say, this is what. Keeping in mind, brand new test. It was different for the students, different for the teachers, and so I just think it's a great starting point for us moving forward on what we're going to do. And I know all the teachers are working really hard, and the building administrators, to make sure we're on point.
Don't forget too, as the child gets older, the parent isn't capable of helping as much. Having 3 boys and go through the math, the older they are, the harder the math, the more a parent may not. I know I needed help, so they weren't getting that extra at-home boost the harder the
Now
math.
it's all on computer, because the math was on computer, and that's something totally
Everything is
new.
online.
The students hadn't taken it on the computer, the math part, and I think that's, you know, we're used to paper pencil, and I think that's a big adjustment that I think will come with experiences and stuff. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone have any other questions?
I would just
Okay.
add before we move on to the next topic that you've probably seen in the paper, on the news, reference to hold harmless. And so these scores, while they're out there publicly and they're showing as, you know, they've compared them to other school districts across the state, et cetera, these scores are not being used toward any evaluative things for teachers. They're not being used against our schools this year in terms of evaluating our schools for school grades. So At least that's what's being proposed, that the House and the Senate have already sort of agreed to behind the scenes. So obviously, we haven't had a vote on that. That won't happen until legislative session. But we've been all but promised, and I can't imagine that they would be able to go backward after publicly saying that they were going to support hold harmless. We've been advised on things that we've needed to move forward on, which is teacher appreciation grant money, finalizing last year's evaluations, et cetera. We have been given guidance from the Department of Ed to use the data from, actually, I believe 2 years ago now, to finalize all those pieces. So that's helpful to everyone until we get sort of over this hump of kids not being used to this test.
Thank you.
I just also put in just a quick little blurb on the TBRI, or the Trust-Based Relational Intervention. And so that is kind of our social and emotional learning focus implementation. Currently, all of the elementary staff have been trained, and we are going to move forward next year for the 2021 to train all of our secondary people. It will be a little bit of a more intense process simply because there's more people that are going to need to be trained. I will say that in October, on the e-learning day, we worked with the bus drivers, the custodians, and all of the food service. We did a quick 2-hour in-service that I found went really well. So I just wanted to kind of put that in there, that for you guys to know that that's moving forward, and we're going to get that all, hopefully all wrapped up. By this time next year, everyone should be trained.
Thank you. That's good.
Will there be additional training for the elementary teachers that were trained this year?
We have, so yes, we have continuing support this year. So one of the consultants goes in to the buildings and meets with the building principals to kind of assess where they are. That will continue next year. Renee Staley and I are kind of tag teaming on this currently. And so that's a great question, because what our next step is the sustainability. We need to build someone in-house, or a few people in-house, that are able to kind of do those refresher trainings, and as we get new staff, making sure that we have someone that can train those new staff every year.
That's great. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We'll now do our superintendent's report.
Okay, hopefully I can keep this quick. I just want to say thank you to all of our teachers and staff on Tuesday, both our teachers and staff who went down to the State House for representing our school district, as well as the folks that stayed back behind. We had a pretty typical day, considering we had a lot of people out. We tried to make that as typical as we could, and it was pretty impressive, the number of people that sort of came out of the woodwork in our community to support not only the kids that were here that day, but Red for Ed. So we had a large population of retired teachers who stepped up and volunteered their time, and a lot of people on this table up here were super helpful. We asked bus drivers, we asked instructional assistants that were typically set at a 29-hour a week. We asked them if they would stay longer. We were able to patch a lot of things together to make that day successful. So really appreciate that. And again, we appreciate the presence at the State House on Tuesday, representing Martinsville. So thank you. A couple of other things. Just want to say thanks to all the fall coaches for the fall sports. It's nice to get to see all the different teams out, and we had some successes here and there, and that's a good thing. Excited to present the superintendent's trophy here in January, so more to come on that. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet, but that has been determined, and so that's something that's coming at a future girls basketball game, in girls and boys basketball doubleheader in January, I believe. That's the plan right now. Third thing, teacher appreciation grant money. This is the time in which we typically disperse that when the state releases that. They did release it just as we had expected, around the 6th or 7th of November, as I recall. The statute does require that we turn that money around within 20 days, which is no easy feat. We have some awesome people upstairs who are, actually one of them might still be working on it right now. But we had originally hoped to get that into teachers' paycheck this Friday, but that wasn't the promise. The promise would be 2 weeks out from now, the December 6th, hoping to hit this Friday's pay. What we've learned is that our system is not designed to run this pay in the way, this pay simultaneous with our regular pay, and it was basically taking money away from teachers when we would put it into the system. So long story short, we're running a separate pay on Monday, which will then hit checking accounts, et cetera, through auto deposit on Wednesday. So long story short, running a separate pay just for tag money so that we can get that to teachers before the Thanksgiving holiday. We will, as soon as that part is over, that's the next piece, is getting the raise and all of that stuff settled and getting those things flowing into everyone's accounts. So we're right where we need to be. We needed to hit a deadline for the tag money, and we're good there. We just have to run an extra payroll, which we didn't expect to do, but that's okay. Fieldhouse update and STEM project update. I just want to give you all just a really quick update on December 12th and December 19th. We've gone ahead and run ads in the paper if we can make this work. We've run ads for those 2 days as potential. The 19th, of course, is a regular board meeting, but we would tag on to the 19th as well. So the 12th and 19th, running 2 different meetings to present to all of you our plan or what we'd like to do for the Fieldhouse project in terms of financing that. And so the 12th will be the meeting to sort of put out to the public what that project is about and what it's going to cost and how we think we want to pay for it. And the 19th will be an opportunity for the community to speak to that if they wish to public speak. So we'll tentatively, that's what we're doing, but there are a lot of pieces that have to happen between now and the 12th to be able to pull that off. So no promises, but we went ahead and put the ad in the paper to make sure that we were meeting all the criteria for timing and those kinds of things. Super excited about the Fieldhouse. I think it's going to be a really nice addition to the high school and really kind of take us to the next level for sports and athletics. Brooklyn project, just another update. I believe I've shared with everyone, but if not, we had a little bit of a snag with the Brooklyn project a few weeks back, which has put us off schedule a little bit, but not significantly, but a little bit. When they were running the plans and running all the core drilling and the things that they need to do at the site, they recognized pretty quickly that when they ran those plans across DNR that the floodplain zone line has moved. And so that line used to be outside of the building and now it runs diagonally through the existing building. So adding on to a building that's sitting in the middle of the floodplain creates some additional code sorts of things that we have to get approved or we have to get passed. We're making some adjustments to the plan because that process could take 120 plus days. We're not interested in slowing this project down that much, so we've talked to the architects about can you adjust the space in which that part of the building goes so that we can continue on our timeline, and the answer was yes. It's just going to take a little bit longer to design that shift, but it would be a lot less than 120 extra days in the project. So moving forward on that, it doesn't significantly impact anything that we were going to do before. It's just the building's going to be in a little bit of a different spot, and some of the spaces within the building are going to be used a little bit differently than they were. We've got some creative architects, and I'm confident here in the next week or two we'll have a new set of plans that will fit what the DNR, which I shouldn't say what fit what the DNR wants, but will sort of avoid us needing to go through the DNR for approval. Any questions about that? I know this isn't really question and answer, but I know it's sort of a hot topic there. That's all I have. I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and thank you.
And now we get to sing some praises, which we're excited to do. I would like to give congratulations to the MHS cheerleaders. They were named Mid-State Conference champions this year. So great to know how hard they work, and that's an exciting feat for them to accomplish, and we're really proud of them.
As Dr. Arthur mentioned, fall sports has ended, which means winter sports have begun within our district. So best of luck to all the winter sports teams.
And our high school will be presenting health on December 13th, 14th, and 15th. And I believe, and we all believe, that it's definitely one event, one show nobody won this. A couple of things that's happened over at Martinsville High School within the last week. This past Tuesday night was Tech Night, an opportunity for people to come in the technology world and see some things. And then a week ago, this past Thursday night, there was a career skilled trades open house at the high school, and boy, it was well attended. As being there, and several people at this table attended that evening. The high school staff did an outstanding job that night, and the teachers in the skilled trades they were all in their rooms, machining, and automotive, and woodworking, one of the neatest things, they made a cutting board. And so it was probably, I'm not sure, bigger than this piece of paper here. And it was designed in into the American flag. Had all the stars etched in and everything. It was absolutely beautiful. And just some of the opportunities that our kids do. And, I'm getting run away talking too much here. In the machining area, they were making the Christmas ornaments that they had made for the last couple of years, and they have four new designs this year. And they went on sale in the bookstore this past Monday. I need to get over there and get them. Are they all gone?
Are they all gone?
Yeah, there's some there.
Well, Shannon will tell them to hold them for you.
They're beautiful. And, but thank you to Principal Nick Sears and his staff, just a great job. And Dr. Arthur mentioned it, and Red for Ed Day was Tuesday, and it was a big day for education in Indiana, and there were 70 plus people, teachers from Martinsville attending that day. It was a pretty impressive day. It provides all the pictures and the footage and all that. And, Shannon Adams, the leader of the group, I tell you what, I was proud to be up there with them. And they did a great job, and they were very respectable and everything. So we're very proud of our teachers. And likewise, the ones that stayed behind did a great job leading our children that day. I believe I've talked enough.
Thank you, Dave. There will be many opportunities in the weeks leading up to Christmas to attend programs being presented at our schools. I was just talking to Mr. Pratt before the meeting and talking about my kids. My kids are, well, my daughter's 22 years old today. My son will soon be 24, and it just seems like yesterday that I was attending those programs with them, how much they meant to myself and my wife. But we certainly want to invite everybody to attend those programs. We'll put the dates on the website, and they do an amazing job.
The first annual Martinsville High School Blizzard Blitz 5K and Fun Run Walk will be held on December 7th at Martinsville High School. Gates open at 9:30, event begins at 10. Cost is $20 a person, which includes a t-shirt. All proceeds will go to the Student Activity Fund at Martinsville High School. Come join the fun on December 7th. Visit the website to participate. And as I just learned tonight, 5K doesn't mean 5 miles, so I'm all excited because I'm doing it. I kind of might have got lost because I think I would have probably gone 5 miles somewhere. So do participate in this. This Student Activity Fund does fund a lot of things for the students, so it'll be a really great, cold, probably time. We also would like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. And one little addition, as parents, we always tell our kids and everything that it's not about you, it's not about you. One thing I love about birthdays is that's the one time you can say it is all about you. So the board would like to wish Debbie Lips a very happy birthday, for today is her birthday. So happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very sweet of you guys. 25 again is lots of fun. So, but I do want to tell you, a lot of you were not here earlier. Before the board meeting, our board member Dave Reinhardt was awarded Volunteer of the Year from the Educational Foundation. So we're very, very proud of him, and so proud that he's a part of our board, and we want to thank you. I won't ask him to talk. Okay, I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second, please.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Our next meeting will be December 19th here at the CEC at 6:30. Thank you for coming.